I am super excited once again to have Dr. James Lindsay here with us. And now, James, you just published another book this year. So you had Race Marxism earlier in February.
Yeah.
And then this one is The Marxification of Education?
That's right.
Okay, all right. So what is the spin in this new book you got out?
Well, the issue is that education's been stolen from Americans and from our children.
Pretty much.
And it is the subtitle has the words theft of education in it. Okay. And it is that there is a theft of education. So the goal of the book is to explain how what they call critical pedagogy stole education. What it allows people to do is keep education that it looks like education, but the content has been ripped out of the inside of it and replaced with political literacy is what they technically call it.
Well, and I have to tell you, I recently, I ran for office this year.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to parents around Vermont about the education that their kids are getting. And when the schools were shut down for 2 years, as an example, they were literally only seeing their teacher for about 30 minutes on Zoom every day. They weren't getting the education that they needed. But there was definitely messages intertwined into every single lesson.
That's how it works, yeah.
And so what is that like? Do you think that that's all part, I mean, obviously that's the name of the book, right? So this is just part of like Marxist takeover of education, essentially, the same way that it has everything else.
Yeah, but this is actually more or less, as far as the takeover goes, done.
Oh, okay, so it's basically we've lost the education system.
Right, we have to actually get education back. It's basically done. They have transformed what you said, where it's kind of woven into everything. That's how it works. Okay. The goal, in the language of the Brazilian Marxist that I'm following in the book, his name is Paulo Freire. In the words of him, he says that the academic lesson is a mediator to political knowledge. So they use a math lesson or a history lesson or a social studies lesson as an excuse to generate a conversation about a political topic.
See, that's what my sister, who teaches science, and she's got colleagues who teach math and English and everything, she said they get these textbooks that'll have questions that are like, well, if, and I'm totally going to get this wrong, but it really is as grossly direct as like, one black student has a widget, and then the white student comes and takes his widget. How many widgets does he have left? It's like that kind of nonsense.
That gratuitous. Yeah, it can be very gratuitous like that. It can be very subtle as well. There's an example a teacher gave me that she went through one of her professional development courses.
Okay, yep.
And the deal was that they were supposed to teach a math word problem for second graders that talks about a kid going to the amusement park and how far have they driven and all this. But the amusement park becomes a trigger. So the teacher says, before we answer the question, class, just to ask, who's been to an amusement park and who hasn't? Some kids raise their hands, some kids don't. Well, what are some reasons why some people will have gone and other kids won't? Well, not everybody can afford it. Now you have a conversation about that. How can we solve it? Well, rich people can pay for it. It should be free, blah, blah, blah. Second graders, 7-year-olds. And so amusement park becomes what Paulo Freire calls a generative theme for a mediator to a political discussion. And the class becomes about the political discussion to make the word problem more interesting.
And so do you think that the teachers that are coming out of university who are being taught to teach this stuff, do you think they're even really present or aware to what's happening, or do you think that they're just like going along with it?
I think they have, most of them have bought into it. And a lot of they don't know that they don't think it's bad, but they've bought into it. Okay. They think that this is the way to have the necessary conversations with the necessary issues with everybody, with the kids, so that they will be engaged political activists or engaged, important word, global citizens, which is the goal. And that's what this is all about, is educating them as global citizens for sustainability and inclusion and buzzword, buzzword.
Yep. Well, and that's so it's almost like it's a setup for one world government and oh my God, I almost said the Brave New World, but that's
you have a New World Order.
Thank you.
But no, this is actually true. You can read in their own white papers, that say the World Economic Forum has published about what they're doing with education, or in their books, that they say, well, we got this public-private partnership and we're going to do the top-down that way. Not everybody will want to go with it. So through education, we'll raise generations of young people who demand it. So we'll get the supply, we'll get the demand, and then it's from top and bottom at the same time.
Oh my God.
It is. So they are trying to build the new economy, the circular economy, the sustainable economy, whatever. They're trying to build that, and then they're trying to brainwash people to fill it.
So does your book give suggestions for how to fight back against this stuff?
Nope, it just tells people what it is.
Like just to make sure they're aware.
The problem is that people know there's something wrong in education. I work with Moms for Liberty, I work around the country. People know how to get active What they don't know is what they're looking for to get active about. I don't have great policy suggestions. It's not my domain.
That's not your job. Yep.
I'm not a great activist to tell parents specifically what they can do. But if I can tell them this is the thing you're looking for, now go do the stuff you're already doing well, but get your target. It's like I'm telling them how to, I guess we shouldn't use gun metaphors, but how to set their scope right.
No, that's true though.
Because it's like right now they're aiming wide. They're not hitting a target to be able to do what they're supposed to do. Do not shoot people.
You guys,
that's not what I'm saying.
No, we're not saying to shoot people, but we are saying you need a sniper rifle, not a shotgun.
That's right. You have to aim correctly at the target. If you go in and say you have CRT in the school, they're going to say no, we don't.
Oh my God,
and they're going to say, well, show me the
stupid.
curriculum, and then the curriculum is something about amusement parks, and you're like, I can't find it. But it's how it's being taught, and it's what they're learning in their professional development.
It's the second part of it.
That's right.
So, and I think that one of the things that I hear all the time is, how do I talk to people? What is the language that I use? And I think sometimes conservatives or people who are right of center, people who can do math, basically, it's like we're so logical that we just talk and we just say stuff, and we just think that if we use facts and figures that is enough to engage people in the conversation. But those same words, they trigger people to actually shut down and not listen.
That's right. That's right.
And so I think it's important that we differentiate how we communicate. Right? Like if we know exactly what we're fighting against, if we know the ins and outs of it, we don't have to use words like CRT or whatever. We can be a little bit more nuanced.
Yeah, of course. That's right. What's actually happening with a lot of these conversations where it just shuts people down when you start trying to bring up the facts or the details or whatever, is that they're so afraid. America at large for 30 years has been propagandized to believe that being conservative is shameful in any way whatsoever.
Yep.
You don't even have to be conservative. You just have to be called conservative by somebody who's not.
Yes.
And if you get that's shameful, you'll lose your social circle. You believe something embarrassing, dumb, a conspiracy theory, you're crazy, something. And Jon Stewart is highly responsible for this environment. Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, these guys are very responsible for this environment to make it, because you get embarrassed if you get laughed at, and they make it something you laugh about.
Yes.
And so most Americans, this has to be broken through. Most Americans need to realize, need to understand, very simply, that if they want to have the conversation, they want to open these minds, you have to watch out for those words that are going to trigger people, but they actually need to convince people that being conservative actually is a normal thing for a lot of people. It's not what everybody's going to do, but it's normal. It's not shameful. That's a lie that they've been sold.
It's so true. I really think, maybe we say libertarian, I don't know what word we use to make people happy, but I think the majority of Americans, 70% anyway, are somewhere in the middle of the line, right? They're somewhere on the median, right?
Right.
And they just want to be left alone.
Yep.
They want to live their lives. They want to love whoever they love. They want to raise their kids however they want. And so we then have these extremes that say, oh, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. And it's like, nah, dude, everybody just wants to be left alone, and we just want there to be a social safety net so that the most vulnerable don't fall through the cracks.
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
Can we agree to that without there being a bunch of stupid other stuff to go along with it?
This is why what I was just saying is so important, is that we have to break the spell that being associated with an idea that gets labeled conservative by somebody else is something shameful.
Yep, agreed.
And having come to Vermont, I know that Vermont has got deep red bones, but it's very, very infected by this false belief, this lie. Yeah. A lot of people's friends and neighbors are conservatives. Their beliefs are not shameful. This is when we break through that, I promise you, and a critical mass of Americans realize that stereotype of conservatives is false. It's prejudicial.
Stupid. Yeah. Oh my God.
And they release themselves from it, then we're going to see a very massive, quick shift in public opinion about many of these topics and issues.
I agree. I think that's because so many people are afraid to stand up and use their voice against any of this stuff, because they get labeled a racist, they get labeled a this, they get labeled a that.
Yeah.
And I think that, like the other team does, we have to laugh at these people. When they say dumb stuff, when they mischaracterize us, we have to laugh at them too and mock them for how foolish they are.
I mean, that's what you do with stupid things. You make fun of them.
But that's why go to Generally Irritable, check out our comedic shorts. We like to make fun of people. So now this event is massive.
It's big.
It is massive. We went to their Young Women's Leadership Summit, and I expected the same thing. My goodness, it is not even close. It is not even close, you guys.
This is 11,000 people.
Oh, holy crap, it's real?
Yeah, when I spoke on stage yesterday, they told me there were something like 8,500 people physically present in the room.
It literally feels like a rock concert, you guys. And
Fireworks,
I know
pyrotechnics,
I know
explosions.
Like
it's
all
great.
of our friends of the channel that are here that are introverts are like dying, and I feel like we need to have a hiding place for them in the back. Even I, as a total extrovert, by the end of the day yesterday, I was exhausted.
Yeah, same.
I was absolutely exhausted. So I want to say thank you so much for being here, Dr. Lindsay. And I know you hate being called Dr. Lindsay. That's why I call you that. But thank you for being here,
well,
and for sharing your knowledge and your experience, because it's what we've been talking about. Education is so important. Sharing these things are so important. And so I'm teasing you a little bit because James is one of our introverted friends, and I sincerely want you to know how much it means to me and other people for you to be outside of your comfort zone for us.
We got to do it.
And I know you're sacrificing on our behalf.
Yeah, we've got to do it.
I love it. I'm so grateful for you, James. Thank you for being here as always. And hopefully, we're going to see some major success out of this conference, you guys. We're making connections. We're meeting people who are getting stuff done. And definitely, so is your book for sale now?
It is for sale now.
Okay, so James, tell everybody where they can buy your book and where they can connect with you on social media.
Social media, I am still currently Conceptual James, at Conceptual James. My company is New Discourses. The website is newdiscourses.com. It's at New Discourses on social media. The book is called Marxification of Education. It's on the one named after a jungle in Brazil. Amazon.com.
All right.
And you can go there. If you forget the title, Marxification.com redirects straight to it. You can buy it Marxification.com to get the book.
All right, perfect. All right, you guys, we'll see you later.